One of my videos titled, "This is the easiest extreme demon in Geometry Dash," blew up. Because of that, I had a plethora of viewers who came into the comment section stating that certain extreme demons were easier. Now naturally, I disagreed with a lot of them. However, one of the levels that one of my viewers suggested was called Forbidden Isle, and after doing some practice runs on it, I managed to beat it in only 800 attempts. Forbidden Isle is an extremely hertz-based level, so if you're playing on mobile phone, I wouldn't recommend it, and if you have a 60 FPS monitor that you can't bypass on, then I also would not recommend it. However, for fairly skilled players who have a high refresh rate, this extreme demon is for you. So Forbidden Isle starts out with a slow mini cube section, and all of these jumps have very obvious arrow indicators. However, most of these jumps are late, so keep that in mind. Those two jumps right there are late. And then this jump right here is not a 4 spike, it is a 5 spike, which means this is actually a very difficult jump with the mini cube. And finally, this jump right here is extremely late. You're going to wait until you're almost off the platform to click it. Next, in the ship part, we're going to have these 90-degree rotated gravity portals. There's more to the right of the screen that aren't visible right now, but these throw a lot of people off because it triggers a lot earlier than you're expecting. In your brain, you think that the gravity portals are going to take effect when you hit the middle of them, but in reality, if we look at the hitboxes here, they extend just like they look, which means you're going to hit them on the far left. Because of these hitboxes, you should plan to hit all of them early. Especially with this one right here, we're going to hold onto the ceiling, and then when we hit the normal portal, we let go. This normal portal is very cosmetic. It doesn't actually do anything other than just mark where you need to go down. Once you're on the ground here, we're going to hit this yellow portal, and the second we hit it, which again is going to be on the left because of the rotated hitbox, we're going to click and hold, and then drop back down here. Like that, a little bit of straight flight, and then we're in this ball section. Now in this ball section, there's going to be a couple of fake outs. It's very easy to memorize, and this ball section is pretty free. So we're just going to click off, then use this fake area here to click down here, fall, and then these clicks are very awkward. This one you can buffer, but these two are going to be very late, as you can tell by the large gap between the objects. And then to be able to effectively land on this platform, we are going to have to hit this blue orb slightly late. You can hit it sort of in the middle. As long as you don't hit it early, you'll be fine. Now if you're going to practice the level, I'd recommend practicing these two clicks as they are extremely tight. Then we have a couple of invisible portals. Now one thing to note here is on certain refresh rates you can buffer this click, so just make a mental note of that. If you like buffering clicks into transitions, then you can buffer this one. Just like that, and then we're going to click and hold on the blue orb to not only change our gravity, but also jump off of the platform, and then hit this green orb to land on this one. This is a 3-spike jump, and if we look at the hitboxes here, it's just a normal 3-spike jump, so we can click roughly pretty early. This isn't like a fixed hitbox jump or anything. It's pretty free. Now one thing to note here is that the structure of this cube section is very awkward. As you can see, we have a tight jump here, and then we land on this very unnatural platform. There's this like dinosaur, lizard, crocodile type thingy, whatever. And then we jump here, and then when we hit this blue orb that's upcoming, you need to click it very lightly, because if you hold, you're going to end up skyrocketing to the ceiling. So because of the vicinity of the platform, we want to lightly tap this blue orb. So very light, and then right here, we're not only going to click very late, like almost where my cube is on this platform, but then we're going to have to hit this blue orb extremely late. This section is incredibly difficult, so practice this. It's a huge beginner choke point. Very late, and then what you can do is you can either buffer off of the blue orb, so basically click and hold on the blue orb to land this jump, or you can wait a couple of frames and then jump. If you buffer, you have a high likelihood of ending up on the low end of the ship portal, and then you're going to have to adjust to get in the middle of these spikes. Now these spikes may look intimidating, but the veteran Geometry Dash players among you will know exactly what these hitboxes are going to look like when I show them. Yeah, they're not actually that scary. We do some straight flight, and then we're in this wave section. If you do not have Mega Hack V7 with the start position switcher, so you can't practice from this position, there are levels on the servers like Forbidden Isle Wave that have this exact section, because this is a very difficult thing in the pre-drop, probably the most difficult section out of all of the pre-drop. So for this first wave, some tips I have is to control your CPS. You need to control your CPS because this is a very spam unfriendly part. It does have some spam sections, but they have to be appropriate. You cannot spam where you're not supposed to spam. Even though it looks like it's a pretty straight and level wave section, it actually has a couple of ups and downs that you have to go through very accurately. So you need to be able to control where you're clicking instead of just spamming. Now here, at this spike structure here, as you can see, the rest of them are at like a diagonal angle, which makes it feel very natural for the wave to go through. Now at this one, what I recommend doing is what I just did, what you can see here, where you go very low here, and then just click and hold through the spike, and that gets you through it. Alternatively, you can do 2 very rapid clicks right about here, which will do the opposite. It will put you up here, then you fall through, and then you click up to clear this. I'll show you what that looks like now. Just like that. As you can see, I click once before. That checkpoint wasn't very friendly, but you click once before and then click sometime. You can click early, you'll end up more near the ceiling, or you can click late, you'll end more near the spike structure. Either way, it doesn't really matter as long as you can recover quickly. And even if you can't, it doesn't really matter because these are the most difficult spike structures because these are pretty easy. These you just click slightly rapidly through and you'll clear them. Okay, so now here, what you're going to want to do is you cannot fall all the way and just click through this gap. You are going to have to do an extra click somewhere in this area. It's pretty open, but you are going to have to do an extra click. It is going to feel very uncomfortable, and you're going to want to decide pretty early on when you're playing this level where you want that extra click to be. So once you decide where this click is by just practicing this section, it will become very natural. We click up, down, up, down. And then this spike structure is similar to the previous one. You can either do 2 extra clicks, but because we're coming off of this spike structure, it's going to feel very natural to just fall down into it. Just like that. This mini wave section is actually, I would argue, easier than the normal wave section, just because of the way the hitboxes work. In this wave section, we're going to go up and then drop down into this gap. Now, we cannot actually clear this gap without having to do a double click within this very open space here. Sort of like that. I kind of did it fast. I almost died to the floor there, but you can do it like right about in where the gap is, basically. Then we're going to go through these 5 total spike structures, and then from there you can spam into the cube portal that's going to show on screen soon. And make sure to not hold into this section because if we look at the hitboxes, you could accidentally crash into the ceiling. We obviously don't want that. You want to end up on this platform as soon as possible so you can time this first click. So in this section, this is a memory section. Now this yellow orb and yellow portal combo, what we're going to do is we're going to wait a little bit after we've hit the yellow portal because it's really close to this block here. So if we hit the yellow orb early, we're going to hit the ceiling of this and we'll die. So you want to hit this somewhat late, and then when we hit the blue orb, we're going to click and hold on it to jump off of this platform, ignore the yellow orb, and land on the next platform. Just like that, and then we land on this platform. We're going to jump off this platform and land on this next one, ignore this blue orb to jump off, and then as you can see, we'll fall onto this platform because it's our only option. We can't jump because this block is blocking us. And then we'll fall, and then here what we're going to do is we'll jump off this platform to land on this one, and then we'll fall, ignore the blue orb, and hit this yellow orb. And then hit those 2 blue orbs, which are very sight readable, but you're going to land on this platform, jump off of it, and land in this section. Now one thing to note about this section is that we'll be normal gravity, then hit the blue pad, jump, hit this blue pad, and go back to normal gravity, then jump again, and we won't actually trigger this blue pad. So this guy is kind of a fake. And then once we do that, on these 4 pink orbs, we only hit the first 3, and it's going to be very in sync to the music, as you'll be able to hear. And then once we hit these 3 pink orbs, we'll fall down here and hit the blue orb only. Just the blue orb, then it's going to knock us down, as you can see, to these yellow orbs. And here, you hit the first 2, and then we're going to land on this platform, and because there are spikes right there, you have to buffer this click. And then hit the blue orb, and we're in the dark section. Like I said, the orbs are very in sync with the music. So here in this dark section, we're going to fall 2 platforms at a time and then jump. Now if I play with the hitboxes here, you can see exactly where the spikes are so you know when to jump. That one's buffered, that one's late, and then we jump completely over this one. This one's different than the rest because we have to jump on this platform to clear it. Then we have this invisible 3-spike jump, which honestly isn't that terrible because it is visible for a couple of frames before you actually get to it. Without hitboxes, it looks like this. As you can see, it's sort of visible, but I just memorized where you need to click, practice that part. It will get very consistent after maybe 10 attempts. Next, we arrive at the drop, and here this UFO section is completely free. We're going to hit the yellow orb. Then once we make contact with the yellow portal, we're going to wait to do 2 clicks to get into the normal gravity portal. And we need to wait because there are 2 saws here that we need to clear. The click pattern is going to sound and look like this. And then we jump immediately after we make contact with the blue portal, and then we're going to transition into this mini ball. This mini ball, we're going to click where this arrow is and hit this blue orb, but then there's going to be a very rapid corridor, so you have to be mentally prepared for doing 4 very rapid clicks. Just like that. Now, one thing to note on that ship part was I did not immediately hold into it. You want to give it a little bit of room because if you hold directly into it, you'll hit this triangle ceiling and we need to sort of dip down below it. Now, you can't wait too long because of these bushes and other hitboxes that will kill you. So at this wave here, we have this little section here before the wave actually starts. And you can either do 3 clicks or 2 clicks. Now in my completion, I think I did 3 clicks. You do 1, 2, and then click and hold to start the wave. And that requires you to do the first 2 clicks pretty rapidly. If you don't want to do those fast clicks, then you just do 1 click and then click and hold. And I'll show what both of those look like. So that's what 3 clicks looks like. And that's what 2 clicks looks like. Whatever you pick, it's up to you. I'd recommend putting a start position there and just playing this wave because it is a huge choke point. I'd just play it, see which one works best for you. Then we have this really bad gameplay of 2 block gap wave spam for whatever reason. If you can't consistently spam, I guess it's time to build that skill range up because this level has another one of them at the end. And also, while we're on the topic of bad gameplay, this is an awful transition that you will need to practice because of how bad it actually is. You go from spam into this dual straight fly. Now this dual straight fly, you can either do 2 clicks or 3, or you can spam and die. You have to be very controlled because again, it is a straight fly. And then you have to be able to hit this yellow orb in the middle, because if you hit it late, you won't have the momentum to reach the height that you need. And if you click it too early, you're going to hit the ceiling. So not only do you have to straight fly here directly after a spam part, you have to click this guy in the middle. Again, super huge choke point that this wave is, and the transition into the ship doesn't make it any better. Once you click the yellow orb, you will arrive at these 2 gravity portals with more yellow orbs, and you want to click these in the middle, but you don't want to also hold on them, you just want to click them. Once you click them, you're going to have your 2 ships land at roughly, hopefully, where these arrows are pointing to. Then we click and hold on these yellow orbs. Now you want to wait until you hit the gravity portals to be able to click and hold on the yellow orbs, and then we'll just slide along here for a bit. Just like that, we're going to fall into this gap, but immediately afterward do a light click to clear these spikes. This is a really, really bad ship gameplay in my opinion, but you gotta deal with it if it's an easy extreme demon, right? This hitbox is just completely jutting out of the ground on this side, and then on this side it's not much better, so you have to make a mental note of that, especially with all these different bushes. It's kind of like Sakupen hell hitboxes. So again, we're going to just release. We're going to be holding and sliding along this, then we're going to release and then immediately do a light click and then straight fly down and up around through that section. So just very light and then straight fly into the end of this really bad dual section. Also, what is that visual glitch? I've never seen that before. There are invisible slopes here that will align you into this 1 block gap. And then we're just going to straight fly here, and then there's going to be a 4 block long spike based straight fly. Like that. Then we're going to land in this green cube portal, and we're going to wait until roughly where my cube is, so basically on the yellow orb to be able to click it. If you are spamming in this straight fly, you will hit the yellow orb before you hit the cube portal, effectively killing you most likely to this spike. You do not want to do that, so make sure to minimize the amount of spamming you are doing if you're going to spam during straight fly. Then we're going to land on this platform, and you cannot buffer off of this platform because this is a very precise click. We're going to click, then click and hold on this blue orb so we can jump. Then this green orb is roughly semi-late. You want to click it roughly in the middle/late. If you hit it early, you're obviously going to die. Just so we can clear this saw and land in this ball part where, luckily, there's arrows. We just click on the arrows. Might be a little bit difficult to see at 3x speed, but it feels pretty natural. This ball is pretty easy. We click on the arrows, and then we click down into this wave section, to which we're immediately going to click back up to do these 2 clicks. Click and hold, let go, click, and then we're into a dual cube. Now in this dual cube, there's going to only be 2 clicks until we go back out of dual, because apparently the creator of this level just couldn't decide on what gameplay they wanted to have at the drop. Both of these clicks are very late. As you can tell, this one obviously has a saw, so you have to hit this late, and then this one, the portal is just very far away, so you can't click it early. Just like that, and then as you can see, there's slopes here that will align you for this straight fly. You only have to do roughly 1 or 2 clicks, and we land in this last wave, to which you'll never guess, but you actually follow the arrows. Kind of crazy considering this level had a giant memory section, and all of a sudden it just wants to tell you where to go. Then we go into this mini ball 3x speed. Again, there are arrows, but this one's a lot more tighter than before, so I would definitely recommend practicing 80 to 100, because this was a huge choke point for me. I died like 4 times in this mini ball corridor. And once we clear it, what we're going to do is immediately click off of the platform and hit this pink orb roughly in the middle. Then we're going to be a mini ship. We're going to fly up here and click this pink orb. Then, once we're in this wave, we follow the arrows again, and we're basically in the clear. Once you hit this wave, if you're good at wave, and you know you're not going to choke it, this is free. Then we have another infamous 2-block gap wave spam. Again, sorry if you're not good at spam, you gotta get good at spam if you want to beat this. Then we slide along here, and then we're thrown into the straight fly. Again, not many tips for that straight fly. It feels very natural. I actually like how they did that transition. Again, I would recommend practicing the drop to 100, 80 to 100, because the drop to 100 is basically the entire level. The pre-drop gets so consistent, it's unreal. And yeah, that's Forbidden Isle. And one more kind of funny thing here is if you go to the creator's YouTube channel, you can see that it says Forbidden Isle, Insane Demon by Silo. So they didn't even intend for this level to be an extreme demon. That should tell you how easy it is right there. So yeah, that's Forbidden Isle. Again, I beat this level in 800 attempts, which even for me is really, really low. So this level is definitely an insane demon, but people keep voting that it's an extreme demon. So it's one of the most free extreme demons I've ever seen.